have a bold prediction for you guys on today's video. Can Bijan Robinson win the Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2023? If you guys think so, yes, hit that like button. If you guys don't think so, hit that dislike button. Won't hurt your boy's feelings. Well, maybe just a little bit. But also, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy by hitting that subscribe button, it will help out the empire grow tremendously so I can make more fun, awesome content for you guys in the future. So let's carry on with the video. Let's just get this straight right off the back. I don't know where the stigma came from or how it spread like wildfire when it comes to drafting a running back so high in the first round of any NFL draft. Because you can literally apply that to any other position when you're drafting that high in the first round. So it really is a pretty stupid argument to make. But besides that, let's discuss why I think that Bijan Robinson can win the Rookie of the Year award. So number one, Bijan Robinson's athleticism and strength speaks for itself. The dude weighs over 250 pounders. He's 5'11", so he can move forward and go side to side with ease. Now, he stayed with Texas for 3 good solid years, and on his last season in 2022, he had a marvelous campaign where he had over 258 carries, 1,580 yards, and 18 touchdowns, and the longest run was 78 yards. That's including incredible games he had to face going against the Baylor Bears, where he had 29 carries for 179 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, and Kansas, where he had 25 carries, 243 rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns, and Oklahoma, he did pretty good damage with 22 carries, 130 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns, and West Virginia, where 21 carries and 101 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. So he did a pretty good job, and also Texas Tech as well. And Alabama, it wasn't the best, but you know what? You want to see him facing good defensive position key battles, and he did. He held his own what he had to do. Even though the outcome, even though it was only 1 point differential difference, by the way. He only lost by 1 point. The whole team, it was 20-19. Okay, so I think he has a high ceiling. You know, I understand a lot of people will say, well, you know, Falcon Empire, it's Texas. They play in the Big 12 where they're known not to have good, solid defense. It doesn't matter. You can't just choose who you want to play for any defense. You just got to ball it out and you just got to let it flow naturally. That's how I feel about that. So number 2 is he's going to the Atlanta Falcons, who love to run the ball so far when Arthur Smith is taking over as the head coach. So out of the 32 teams, these are the top 5 teams that love to attempt the ball the most. So that is the Falcons at number 1, the Bears, the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Browns. So the Falcons have 559 attempts, just rushing attempts. Obviously, because maybe that has to do with Marcus Mariota not being so hot when it comes to passing yards, and that might change with Desmond Ridder, but as it stands right now, we are number 1. Going forward to this season, that might change a little bit, but I think Arthur Smith really loves to use the philosophy of keep grounding and pounding the ball away. So when it comes to total rushing yards, the Atlanta Falcons are ranked number 3. Out of the 32 teams is the Chicago Bears, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Giants, and the Eagles. And so we have 2,718 total rushing yards. So there are plenty of opportunities for Bijan Robinson to get his licks. Because remember, last year, Tyler Algier had 1,035 rushing yards. Cordell Patterson, who had 695 rushing yards. Now think about this just for a second. Even though he's getting up in age, last year, he got that much of rushing yards. Now think about this year, maybe it would decline because of Bijan, but when you can give, CP that much of a run game, you definitely know that Bijan Robinson could definitely triple that with ease. So when it comes to the quarterback position, Marcus Mariota, even though he didn't pass the ball very well, he ran pretty effectively, I thought, with 438 rushing yards. Now that definitely helped the offense move the chains. Since he's not there anymore, Desmond Ridder got a little of a attempt with 64 rushing yards, and then Caleb Huntley, who got banged up last year of the end of the season, coming back healthy, hopefully, with 366. And then Adrian Williams, who just tore his ACL a couple days ago. Hopefully he recovers quickly. He gathered 109 rushing yards. So it is possible for all these brand new Falcons running backs to eclipse the same statistic or maybe even more now because we have better gameplay, better offensive line play. By the way, I didn't even talk about that. I think we got more advanced, more superior when it comes to the offensive line play, and it will definitely help out even more. But sadly, I must talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the NFL. And you know how they like to play favorites when it comes to quarterbacks. I don't know how to do that sound effect yet. I'm not that skilled. But you guys get the gist. We all know that there are 3 golden quarterbacks in this rookie draft class that the NFL will be pounding their hearts and chests for the opportunity to get the Offensive Rookie of the Year awards. That, my friends, will probably means that Bijan Robinson will probably get snubbed out of the books. You know how it goes. If a Falcon does great, they don't reward him. Maybe besides Matt Ryan in 2008 when he got the Rookie of the Year, but that was a long time ago before the bashing of the Falcons by the media. But let's just look at the competition that Bijan Robinson will have to go against. Number 1 will clearly be Bryce Young because he was drafted first overall in the 2023 NFL Draft by the Carolina Panthers, and he came out of Alabama, Roll Tide, baby, where he played for 3 years in 2020 through 2022, and he had an excellent career with them. Yes, they're already stacked with already pro talent, weapons. I get that part, but he still has to command them. Yeah, the only problem I see a lot of people really smacking on him is his height difference because he's 5'10". Okay, that's just the most stupidest thing I ever heard because you never want to underestimate anybody regardless of their height, their size, or what they can achieve or can't achieve. That's how you lose games in the NFL, and believe me, we do not want to do that. Besides all of that, the Carolina Panthers are still a pretty good team. I don't know where the stigma, where a lot of people think that the Carolina Panthers are going to have a down year. No, I think they're going to have a pretty stable, contingency when they're trying to rebuild this because they got Frank Wright, who's a hell of a coach. They got a hell of a scary defense, and the wide receiving core and the running game is not that half bad. So I think Bryce Young will definitely have a contingency of becoming a Rookie of the Year in my eye. This one will be quick and easy because I hardly ever get the chance to watch any Ohio State games. He played 3 years for them, drafted 2nd overall by the Houston Texans, and the only 2 games I got to see him play was against Michigan and Georgia, and he did a fantastic job in both of those games. And so I think he can replicate that in Houston, even though they are clearly in a rebuilding mode, and their star wide receiver has left the building on the trade with Brandon Cooks. So they have the old veteran Robert Woods, they have Steven Sims, Aaron Rodgers, John Mitchell III, and then they got Jalen Camp, and they got Noah Brown, and they got Northwell Dell, the rookie from Houston. So I think they got a pretty good squad, even though on paper it's not. You know what? You just don't know until they step on the field. But I do love that the Houston Texans hired defensive coordinator DeMarco Ryans to their head coaching position because he played for Alabama back in 2002 through 2005. Then he was drafted in the 2nd round in the 2006 by the Houston Texans in 2006 through 2011, and then his final years with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2012 through 2015, and then he became defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and then he got his chance becoming the head coach for the Texans. He can definitely help teach CJ Stroud how to attack the defensive side, and I think that gives him a pretty good heads up in my opinion. For our last quarterback of today's video, this is a very interesting one because this is Anthony Richardson, and he is my dark horse candidate to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year award because he is so gifted, so athletically strong. Just like on this clip you see right here, he could just take a simple concept and just run the ball with his athleticism, just like Cam Newton, where everybody's comparing him to be like. And you can see how he just cuts on the dime and uses his big frame to shed these tackles. And look at that, he takes it to the house without any hesitations. And that will be exciting for Colts fans because we all know he can use his legs for serious serious maximum damage. But the key thing is his passing game. Will that determine his fate for the Colts? Because honestly, I think he should have played one more year in Florida so he gets himself more elevated in the passing game, because what I saw in Florida was pretty nasty, and that's not in a good way, by the way. His poor throwing mechanics were horrendous. I don't know where he was throwing it to because of his accuracy skills is not there, where he missed wide open wide receivers across the top where they beat their man, by the way. His limited experience really shows because he got his first start as a starter for Florida last season. He needs more time and reputations to really get the flowing, the feel for the game. I thought, his habits really were terrible. When he gets scared out of the pocket, he just lobs it up where anybody can grab it. He needs to stop that. Also, I don't like his mechanics. His arms, his legs, when he's trying to motion it, I think they're all wrong. Not to say, okay. He struggles with decision making, and that is something that really bothers me, because sometimes he makes pretty good throws, but more likely than not, he makes some of the most dumbest mistakes. Even I can make those that are not dumb mistakes, and I'm me, and I can't play ball like he. But if I feel like I could do better as a quarterback, there's something wrong. I like the kid. I think he could be great, but I just wish he got that 1 year extra of knowledge. Knowledge is power in my book. But who knows? I could be wrong. I could be right. Either way. So in conclusion, I think Bijan Robinson really does have a fighting chance in competing with all those three talented quarterbacks in one way or another. Obviously, he's not going to throw the ball, so he's not going to get more looked upon. But I feel like a lot of people will see how dominant and how he will help the Atlanta Falcons push into the playoffs and hopefully to the Super Bowl. He is the golden goose that lays the golden eggs for the Atlanta Falcons. But unfortunately, I do have this in the back of my head that there's going to be a lot of nepotism when it comes to the NFL, because they love to talk about so glorifyingly when it comes to the quarterback position. And last year, even though Wilson from the Jets, number 17, the wide receiver, won it only because of the technicality, there was only one quarterback last year who was drafted in the first round, and that was Kenny Pickett. No offense to him. I'm just saying, if there were like two other quarterbacks, that might be a different scenario, but it is what it is. So hopefully Bijan Robinson can win it, but I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. So on that note, if you guys like this type of content, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm always trying to do something different, always trying to improve my content. So if you guys stick around to the very end, thank you guys so much. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.